Afternoon guys, how you doing? It's Kate and I'm back for another Body Bestie Friday. This one is gonna have to be a quick one today. I'm running a bit behind the 8 ball and I can hear both of my kids upstairs fighting, so I don't know that they're gonna give me too long. Today I want to talk about the only numbers that matter when it comes to really loving yourself and loving your body. Now, this morning I got up and I went to get into the shower, and we live in a house that's over 100 years old, and so the pipes are pretty old, and so it takes like 30 to 40 seconds for the hot water to come through. So while I'm waiting for the hot water, I look down and I see a set of scales, and I was like, I haven't weighed myself in a while. I might just jump on these scales and see how much I weigh. Worst freaking idea ever. So I get on the scales and they've actually gone down since last time I was ridiculous enough to decide that weighing myself was a great idea. But was I happy that it had gone down by a kilo? No, I wasn't. The first thing that goes through my head is, oh yeah, great. But you know what would be really great? If I could just get it down below 70 kilos. And then I spent the rest of the morning obsessing over this number, which is just so completely ridiculous. Like, what is the difference between 72 or 71 or 60 or 69? It's just a number and it doesn't matter. It doesn't change my body. It doesn't change how healthy I am. It doesn't change what my body can do. But for some reason, it gets in your head and then you become obsessed with this number, right? So Lindy Cohen, who's someone I have spoken about before, who is an absolute legend and is the nude nutritionist, she's been all over social media this week talking about not letting wanting to weigh 5% less take up 95% of your life. And it's so true. Like, I gave myself a pretty quick slap upside the head, and I managed to turn that negative voice, who I like to call Debbie Downer, or my inner bully, I managed to turn that negative voice into something positive. So by the end of it, I felt okay. And if you would like to know a little bit more about the tips that I've got to help regulate your negative self-talk, then you can go back through some of my Body Bestie Friday videos, and there is one there on negative self-talk, and there's a couple of really great tips in there on how to silence your inner bully. So, I did manage to silence my inner bully, and I did manage to get on with the rest of my day and not obsess about this stupid number, because it's not important. It's not important. I also teach group fitness at a gym, and one of the instructors, who's a really, really good friend of mine and a mentor and an amazing chick, where she teaches, the scales are right outside the group fitness studio. So these women smash out a workout and they walk out feeling amazing and feeling exhilarated and feeling on top of the world. And she says she sees them through the glass walk out of the studio on an absolute high, walk straight over to these scales and get on and be completely deflated. That exhilaration and that high and that amazing feeling, all those beautiful endorphins that are going through their bodies after having such a great workout when they've left on such a high, the second they get on those scales, their faces change and they become completely deflated. How can that be good for your self-esteem? It's just not. There's another story that I think of all the time in terms of numbers on scales. So I also teach dance. And one day I was teaching a group of girls who were sort of 15 to 17 years old, and they got to talking about how much they weighed. Now, every single one of these girls was perfectly healthy, perfectly strong, and perfectly normal in size. They were all athletic, lean, toned dancers. And the difference in weight between the lightest girl and the heaviest girl was 40 kilos, 40 whole kilos. Now, I just want to start again and say that none of these girls were big girls. None of these girls were underweight. None of these girls were overweight. But they went from, a short, wiry, slender pocket rocket of a dancer to this 6-foot glamazon chick that had legs that just about came up to my armpits, and she looked amazing. She's going to be a Radio City Rockette one day, I swear. She was over 80 kilos, and the tiniest little pocket rocket chick was about 45 kilos. Now, every single one of these girls was perfectly healthy, perfectly strong, and perfectly normal. So the number on the scales just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't make you feel good about yourself. So today, my hot tip for making you feel amazing about yourself is to ditch the scales. And the only number that I want you to worry about is the number that you use to rate how good about yourself you feel and how good about your body you feel. So if 1 is, I'm feeling pretty rubbish about myself, and if 10 is, I freaking love myself, and don't get me wrong, it is totally okay for you to freaking love yourself. If 1 is not great and 10 is, I freaking love myself, I want you to be at least a 7 or more. And if you are not a 7 or more, I want you to start to think about what you can do to start bringing that number up and how you can start to feel better about your body. Now, as you know, I've got this weekly segment, so there's some really, really great videos that you can go back and view that will give you some fantastic tips on how you can start to really love your body. So I want you to only concentrate on that number that you rate yourself and how much you love your body. That's it for me today, guys. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and remember, love your body. It's the only one we live in.